Hey, this is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and we are going to have a good time today. I want to introduce myself, take a moment here, and just say that I share because I care. So, thank you for being here because we're going to talk about something that many people really want to know more about. And I'm going to share some of that with you because I'm excited and delighted to be able to announce that we have two over the top veterans when it comes to understanding oncology, right? Cancer. What can you do to reduce your risk? Not just the first time, but for some of you who have gotten cancer already and you don't want to have it come back. So, what could you do? So, there's not a lot of information that is out there. And today, I'm going to give you a taste of what is possible. So, again, I want to thank you for being here. If you are new to me and everything that I'm about to be sharing with you today, I want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit on the button. I'm talking about the bell so that whenever we upload information, you will be informed and then you can listen, watch at your convenience. Now, I'm recording this live, and if you're catching a replay, I want to say act like it's live, but I'm recording it live midweek. They call it Hump Day. And I was thinking about how I wanted to present this. And I thought about it and I thought about it and I thought about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm overthinking this. You wanted to share it. Now, everything that I'm going to share with you today is brought to you by our Detox Drop. And I'll talk about that in a second, but I want to give a quick shout out to one of our coaches who began as a client. And look at Stephanie. We did a live yesterday, and if you hadn't had a chance to listen to it, because Stephanie is very well spoken. Yesterday was a big day. She got one of her first clients yesterday. It worked out extremely well, and she is on her way to just thriving, not just personally, but putting herself in the driver's seat to be able to contribute back to society by helping other people. So thank you again for your time, Stephanie. I appreciate you. And as I said, this time together with you is brought to you by our Detox Drop. If you want to learn more about the Detox Drop or our 8-week fat loss challenge, links are provided. The Detox Drop, if you got questions about it, feel free to reach out to me about it. But you can go there and you can read about it and see how it can benefit you, whether your goal is to improve health. Maybe you want to lower your glucose levels. Maybe you want to improve uric acid levels. Maybe you want to get off blood pressure medication. Whatever the case may be, just read and learn. And if it's a good fit for you, then take advantage of it. And then I want to encourage you to learn more about our upcoming virtual conference. Virtual conference called Food as Medicine. I'll be your host, Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson, and it's going to be a good one, and you don't want to miss it. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this impromptu live today, is because we are very happy and honored to have two add-ons to our course. As far as instructors you're going to get to meet, people you're going to get to hear from. We have one of the best gastroenterologists, experts when it comes to the gut microbiome that's going to be at the conference. And you get to hear directly from her. And now we have two amazing bad mama jammas, if you will, when it comes to understanding oncology and giving you real information on how to reduce your risk when it comes to cancer. I mean, you're talking over 60 years experience between the two of them, probably close to about 70 years. And one of them is profound, world renowned. And soon we'll make all of this information available on the website. But I've been working with them for about 5 years. And they endorsed the Diet Free Life methodology, which I'm happy about. I totally endorse them, and I have learned so much about cancer in the last 5, 6, 7 years with them. Plus, my mom is a 3-time survivor of breast cancer. And so, of course, I'm going to bring that to the table. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about cancer, maybe you know a little bit about cancer, then I want to talk about it a little bit today. So if you have any questions about it, if I can answer those questions, I will give you my best answer. If I can't, then I'll just keep notes of it and make sure that it gets addressed when we do our virtual conference on Food as Medicine, which is both a course, 2-day course. It is a conference, and it's a certification. that puts you in the driver's seat where you can actually give proper and accurate information to people when they ask questions about nutrition. Because there's so many people out there really quick to give their advice about nutrition, but the advice they're giving is actually hindering a person's health instead of helping them. And they don't know. As my favorite book says, forgive them for they not know what they do. Because a lot of people really don't know, but yet they are quick to give advice. I can't tell you how many people I'll meet for the first time and they find out what I do, and then they just start telling me what they're doing and why what they're doing is good. And I just look at them, and then somewhere in the conversation, they'll say, well, you know what I mean, right? And I go, oh, absolutely not. And then everything comes to a halt because I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm a great listener, so I'm going to keep listening to you, but I'm not going to agree with you when I know that what you're saying is absolutely horrific. It is not accurate. It is not true. I'm going to call you on it. And I would want you to do the same. And then we can have a whole conversation about it. Like, for instance, my follow-up to this call or this share today is I'm going to talk about nutrition politics. And when it comes to nutrition politics, there's a lot that you guys are not aware of. I'm fully aware because that's what I do. This is my profession. And so being aware of what's taking place from a bureaucracy standpoint, the politics around it, it really works the same as regular politics. But here's the difference. You can have an opinion around politics, but when it comes to your health and your life, I ain't counting on no opinions. I needed to be substantiated. That means that we need some data. We need some observation, someone who have observed people being successful. And then that what you observe actually is in alignment with the data, the science. That's what I need to see. I ain't going by your word. And some of you who are like over 40, over 50, 60, 70, you're jumping on board with this Ozempic and Wegovy. And yes, you're listening to people who are doctors and they make sense. And they definitely can explain things and know more than you. But you're trusting these people and you're going to just go for it. And I get it because you want the weight loss. It's that bad. I think these people should be disbarred. Seriously. The ones who are prescribing it, unless they are just ignorant. And I also know that there's quite a few physicians that are ignorant when it comes to weight loss. Matter of fact, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, look, a large majority of the weight that people lose on these drugs is coming from their skeletal muscle and their bone. And you're okay with that? How could you be okay with that when we know that the more muscle you have, the longer you're going to live? There's an association there. And if you ever get cancer, as I was talking to the oncologist this morning, they reminded me that there's clear-cut evidence, scientifically proven, that the more muscle you have, the more increased opportunity you have to survive cancer. So, and then when you look at, someone taking Ozempic, and we know there's an increased risk of thyroid cancer. Okay, well, we know that thyroid cancer is largely preventable. About 90% of people who get thyroid cancer, they'll just take the thyroid out. Okay. So you're okay with that. And eventually you're going to get off the drug. And when you get off the drug, now your thyroid's all over the place. You don't have a thyroid. What is that life like? And you've lost primarily muscle, so you've increased your risk of not surviving and looking older. It's unbelievable. Let's connect the dots, you guys. Let's connect the dots because people are not looking out for your best interests. They're not. And if you have a confident physician who really is okay with putting you on some of these drugs, tell them that they have an open invitation to be on a podcast with me. Now, I'm not the average Joe down the street. I have been around for a while. I've had some celebrity. I've written 3 books. I've had best-selling books. I had the #1 infomercial on TV. I've been on quite a few shows. I've been around. I've helped a lot of people, a lot of celebrities. So it's not like they're just, so I'm just not your average guy down the road talking about nutrition. So that should give them the inner confidence to say they're not wasting their time. And ask that doctor 5-10 minutes. I'll let them do an opening statement about what they like about Ozempic, Wegovy, Monjaro, whatever, Trulicity. Let's say we give them a minute, 2 minutes, and then I get a minute, 2 minutes, and then we talk for, let's say, 6 minutes. So we both get 2 minutes. Then we have a conversation for 6 minutes, and if they need to go, then we'll let them go. But I believe anyone who listens to that conversation will be very clear that it's an injustice that so many people are being put on these drugs. Now, my talk right now is not about that. It really isn't. I can just ramble when I bring up like some of these weight loss drugs and the ones for diet. I mean, I actually have a couple clients that I recommend they get on it. Now, there's a whole story behind that. So I'm not like totally against it. I think sometimes we're in a situation where the best thing to do is the best thing to do based on what we are aware of. Like when the pandemic hit, my mom, we had a great conversation. I love my mom. And she says, son, should I get vaccinated? And I said, yes. After some long, careful thinking, some critical thinking, I said, yeah, mom. Now, I didn't do it, but I felt that I was in a pretty good place mentally, emotionally, health-wise. And the science wasn't what they were saying was science wasn't adding up, which now we know. I mean, thank God I listened to myself. And I just was able to look at it for what it was. And everything that I believed during that time, we now know it to be true. Okay. So you can say, did I make a mistake? Did I not? Well, we know I didn't. But at the time, there's a lot of pushback on me when it came to that. Well, when it comes to nutrition, there's a lot of pushback. You have some people telling you it's okay to eat this and eat that. Oh, yeah, you don't need to eat carbs. No, eat more carbs. Bring the fat down. Oh, coffee's good. No, coffee's bad. Now, when you get diagnosed with cancer, if you didn't think nutrition is important, anyone who catches the live or the replay of this talk, you know what that feeling is like. You know how scary that moment was. And you're open and you don't want to play games. You want the truth. You don't want to be taking a supplement that may increase the risk of the cancer coming back. You don't want to eat in a way that's going to put your life on the line. Now, when people survive cancer and they get back to their old life, many of them go back to their old ways. But here's the deal. There is a moment when you are diagnosed with cancer when it really matters and you want to know what is the best thing for you to do, to include the best thing for you to eat, the best thing for you to avoid, and you will do it because you want to live. Well, in our Food as Medicine virtual conference, we have two amazing people that are going to bring their wealth of knowledge to the table. They're going to give us a presentation that is going to benefit some of you for the rest of your life. And it's probably going to help some of you avoid or definitely reduce the risk of getting cancer. And many of you who have lived through cancer is going to put you in a position where you're going to reduce the risk of it coming back. I believe it's going to be some new information. It's going to be fun because they're very dynamic. So it's not going to be a sad time. I mean, you know my personality for those of you who know me. And they're fun. I mean, for a long time, I would have meetings with these oncologists every week. And I didn't even want the conversation to end because I learned so much from them. And I feel that they learned some things from me. And there's a mutual respect. And all of us have been around for a long time. So you have that value worth that's built into it. But you're talking about your life. Some of you have parents who are going to get cancer. Some of you just got through with chemo. And you talk to your doctor, but they're not in the space that these people are in. Most of these doctors don't even understand nutrition. And there's literally scientific papers that are pretty conclusive on how you use food as medicine to both heal and to reduce the likelihood of the cancer coming back. So, who doesn't want to learn about that? Who doesn't want to learn how to reduce their risk of cancer? Now, you could be in denial. Could I watch people post food that they're eating that I know for a fact, if they're eating that way pretty consistently, that they're increasing their risk of cancer, not just being overweight, not just, increasing their risk for diabetes, but cancer. So we're going to be talking about prostate cancer. We're going to talk about breast cancer. We're going to talk about colon cancer. And other cancers may come up in the conversation, depending on the questions we have from those who are in the conference. But this is real. Where can you go right now and get clear understanding, clear recommendations on how to eat to reduce your risk of cancer? As I talked about last few lives that I've done, I asked the question, what is food? And nobody ever responds. Because most people walking around can't define that. So if you're at the office today or you go to the office tomorrow, or you're driving with someone in the car, or you talk to your kids and you're in the car, have some fun with this question. Ask them, hey, could I ask you a question? And they'll go, yeah, what's that? How would you define food? Like what is food? And then let that marinate, right? And you're going to come to the conclusion that food is something that nurtures, right? Your health. It nurtures your energy. It nurtures everything about you. So if food nurtures you, what is the stuff we're eating that doesn't nurture you? Because that's not food. So the way I look at it is I always say food nurtures your health. Whatever's not food takes away from your health. Right? So in our Food as Medicine conference, we're going to have a whole hour conversation about this thing called leaky gut. And I was first introduced to leaky gut, I'm going to say beginning of 2000s, where most physicians and most people in the space of healthcare did not believe leaky gut was real. And I remember leaning more toward the science side of things, going, yeah, if all the doctors I talk to and all the science is saying there's no leaky gut, then I think this is all a hoax. This is all kind of made up. It's kind of like all the foo-foo people. Well, the foo-foo people were right. And now the science has caught up and it's become very clear that leaky gut is real. So then you would go, well, Robert, what is leaky gut? Well, if you have an autoimmune challenge, if you have lupus, if you have migraines, if you feel inflamed, I mean, the list goes on and on that are the outcomes of someone who has leaky gut, right? Like leaky gut is as real as it's ever going to get, right? I mean, if you have brain fog, that's associated with leaky gut. If you have food intolerances, allergies, joint pain, skin rashes, right? Acne as an adult, eczema, if you got gastrointestinal challenges, that's all leaky gut. So leaky gut is affecting a whole bunch of people. If you got, like I had a client who had major joint pain. And when we worked on improving the gut, then the joint pain was gone. Think about that. And food played a huge role in how we restored their gut. And they no longer had leaky gut. See, when you have inflammatory immune cascades taking place, If you improve the gut, then that's a good thing. And when it comes to cancer, the emerging science is very clear that your gut health plays a huge role in your survival rate if you get cancer, and the balance of your gut plays a huge role on if you're more likely to get cancer. I mean, most people don't know that every day our body produces cancer cells. Did you guys know that? Every day your body produces cancer cells. Now, those cancer cells may not express, right? But based on your lifestyle, let's say you smoke cigarettes, let's say you drink a lot of alcohol, let's say you eat a lot of, greasy fat foods, seed oils, then you are more likely to turn on some of those cells, and then you're living and dealing with cancer. Yeah. Every day we all produce cancer cells. It's like it goes with this old saying that our genetics, right, loads the gun, right? So every day we're producing cancer cells. So our genetics load the gun, and it's our lifestyle that pulls the trigger. Our genetics load the gun, and it's our lifestyle that pulls the trigger. So what is the difference? How can each one of us improve ourselves? How can we reduce our risk of cancer? And if you reduce the risk of cancer, you also reduce the risk of cardiovascular events, right? More people die from heart disease, heart attack, stroke than anything else. So if I eat and live my lifestyle in a way that I reduce my cancer risk, simultaneously, I'm reducing my risk of cardiovascular events. That's awesome. And when you have a virus that hits, like we've all experienced with the pandemic, the healthier you are, the stronger your immune system, the better you're going to do if you end up coming down with one of these challenges. So you reduce your risk of not making it because you did all the things that reduce your risk of cancer as well as cardiovascular disease. And many of you are walking around, a lot of guys, they got a hard belly and they're not doing anything to improve it. And they're just waiting. They really are a ticking time bomb. And a lot of the wives are looking at their husbands and their lovers or whatever that person is to you, your significant other, and you see all the symptoms. You want them to do something, but they're not. And that doesn't mean that for those of you who are all the guys that are thin, because we know that's not true. Just because you're thin doesn't mean you're going to win. Just because you're thin doesn't mean you're not susceptible to everything I'm saying. There's a lot of people who have high blood pressure that are thin. There's a whole bunch of people that get cancer that are thin. You don't got to be overweight and have the obvious signs. So come on. Okay. I want to encourage you guys, if you know someone that they actually care about their health, invite them to our virtual conference that's in October. Tell them now so that they can save money and get in at the reduced early bird special. Okay. Well, that's my share. It's more of an excitement. And I would say a take home for all of you who are actually wanting to be healthier, whether you are with our methodology or not, I would say, look, just eat more foods closer to nature. I'm not going to say don't go and have your In-N-Out burger and all that, because I encourage people to do those things. But the staple of what I encourage is primarily going to be eating as close to nature as possible. Make sure you're eating fruits and vegetables. It's like I kind of giggle in my own head when I just said that, because I watched a seminar the other day where these 3 people who have big followings were telling people not to eat fruits and vegetables. And I was sharing this with the 2 oncologists today. And when I mentioned it, they just totally stopped in their tracks. And they just looked at me in a stare, because they know the increased risk of colon cancer when you don't eat a variety of fruits and vegetables. So who are these people telling people not to eat fruits? And well, there are people who look fit. They obviously spend time in the gym, and they're influencers. So they influence people to not eat fruits and vegetables. Because people don't know. How do they know? How would you know? Unless you're in the space. And then you got me saying one thing, and you got someone else saying something else that's an influencer. That's why I always say, let's bring everybody to the carpet. You know, when I was in the Marine Corps, that's what you did. Bring it to the carpet. Let's have a face-to-face. Make your point, make your point. Let's have a little conversation about it. And then you got to bring in witnesses. Okay, I'll bring in some witnesses. They can bring in their witnesses, people that have lost weight and that are thriving with their health. But what happens is they don't have people that are thriving with their health. They're just good at sharing theories. Otherwise, they could bring people to the table, and they can't. And then let's say that they do bring people to the table, meaning they bring in 10 people who are much healthier. They've lost a ton of weight. They're no longer diabetic. Let's say that they bring people in, and then I bring in the same amount of people that are saying that they got the same outcomes. Then it comes down to which method speaks to you, right? So my method says we can eat whatever we want. There's a way to eat all types of foods. You don't have to avoid foods. So let's say that's my method, and you can still get these results. The other method may say, nope, you're not eating any carbs. You're just going to eat only protein, and you're going to get amazing results. Okay. Now, if both ways work, it now comes down to you making a decision. Okay, do I want to just avoid all carbs for the rest of my life and only eat meat because it looks like that works? Or do I want to go with what Robert is saying and eat some of everything and still get the exact same results? I think it's a no-brainer. The answer to that is a no-brainer. Okay, think about it. The answer to that is a no-brainer. Instead of going with a political party when it comes to nutrition. Nope, I only eat meat. Nope, I avoid dairy only. Nope, you choose these parties from a political standpoint as far as how you want to approach nutrition. Whereas I really am independent when it comes to the political side of nutrition. Because I believe I'm going to eat the things that I know nurture my body. And if I want to eat something that is not considered close to nature and healthy, okay, I want to be able to eat it in the healthiest way. I'm good with that. That makes sense to me. But some people just need extremes. They live in the world of extremes. And I say good luck with that. Because extremes set you up for major, major, major challenges. So, anyway, this is a big, cool announcement. We have 2 top-level oncologists coming to be a part of our virtual conference. And each and every week, I'm going to start sharing with you the different professors, physicians, experts, keynotes, people that we are bringing in, because it's going to be a packed opportunity. And you guys will have full access to all of this information during the conference as well as after the conference. So, all right, I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you for giving me a chance to share information with you. Woo! And if you are not part of our YouTube channel, please go check it out. And if you have questions, shoot us an email. My assistant is great at getting back to you, whether you have questions about becoming a client, becoming a coach, or you just have general questions. Just email in, and part of our outreach and ministry is to answer questions for people who are looking for clarity. All right? So until the next one, I'm Robert Ferguson. You can always go to dietfreelife.com. Peace.